We'll start with the session. So whatever we have done in the last class, we're able to go through those things.
Good evening, Balaji.
Yeah, good evening.
Balaji, I'm getting some error while updating my Maven project.
Share me the screen. Click on details. Okay, click on OK. And go to pom.xml. Change the compiler. Just remove that one, that plugin, line number 9 to 17. Just 9 to 17. You just cut it for the timing. Remove. Yeah. Save it. Just create a tag plugins. I think you need to remove from 10 to 17. Just give Control Z. Yeah, 10 to 17. That plugin only you remove. Save it. Now try to update the project. Okay, click on OK. Just paste that plugin. Just give Control Z. Right, and then right click on the project. Go to build path. Configure build path. Click on the JDK and just click on JRE system library JDK. Just choose that JRE. Click on JRE. Yeah, remove it. On the right hand side, you see remove option. Now give a add library. JRE system library. Now go for alternate JRE. Remove this. Add library. System library. Go for alternate JRE. Check the drop down. What are the other library you have? Click on execution environment. First radio button. Click. Give me control. Check out. To change the library, you can use this option. After clicking on this installed JRE, you can add a different JDK. After clicking on this add standard VM, you can choose different library. Let me check for let me go with JDK 17. Null pointer exception. Which is the username you logged in?
Sneha.
Okay. From when are you getting this error?
Yes.
Yeah, from when you are getting this error? Null.
Before half an hour, I have added some dependencies that extend report dependencies. After that, I'm started facing this issue.
Okay, right. Build only there is an error. Project builder on project null point. In the project, so under project you will have clean. Let's choose this clean all project with clean. We'll try to build automatically, it will happen. Update Maven project Java null pointer exception. You have oxygen, you did not use latest one. We installed the latest one Eclipse, right? Do you have the Eclipse which we installed? Use this Eclipse. Oxygen might have a problem because we are using a latest version. The libraries and all, we are using the latest version.
How can we uninstall that older version?
Yes, you can. Let me check that once again. You can basically do this on as where is the Eclipse? This is the Eclipse it was showing, right? Okay, let me check that it's gone actually. Now open this project. So older Eclipse, it's also an Eclipse version issue. Form.xml. B. Yeah. Yeah, it was an Eclipse issue only, I guess. So it's building properly. The older Eclipse, just check it in the release the control. Check it in the program files. Hello, are you there?
Yes, Balaji.
Yeah, just I release the control. Just go to program files and then see the Eclipse that you uninstall it.
I mean program files only,
Yeah,
but
go to
not
no
the.
in the start. Sorry, programs and just go to start and search for
Okay,
uninstall.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah, here you can uninstall you search. You will be getting. Just search for uninstall. You will get it. Add or remove program. So in this, do you see Eclipse? Search app is there. You can search for the Eclipse. From where then oxygen is coming? Do you have? How did you open Eclipse regularly?
From the shortcut only. From here.
Okay, just close this Eclipse, the one which I opened. Yeah, close it. Now just right click on that Eclipse. Yeah, after closing it, right click on it. Right click on Eclipse again. It's opening. It's connected to. Okay, give me control. Don't click on launch. Cancel it. Now this is actually connecting to Eclipse Oxygen Ocean. Let me check from where it is coming. Desktop software testing. Here is where you have that oxygen version. This one you can unpin. This you don't want to use it. This is a older version. The latest one is in E drive. Sorry. The latest one is in E drive Eclipse. This you can use it. This you can pin to start. I just keep the icon on desktop. You can use that action. Yeah, this will connect to the latest Eclipse. You can uninstall the one which is inside this folder. Then it should work. Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. Every time remember that it should be like this 2022-06. That's the latest one or above that. Now let me share my screen. Okay, so let me quickly give you an summary of what we have done till now. So in the framework level, so we started with one test method, then we created multiple test method in different classes. For browser configuration, we created a class. In that class, we have configured the extend report, browser launch close, cross browser testing detail we have added, and almost everything is done in that. Even the screenshot also we have embedded in this extend report. Apart from that, we connected with the Excel data provider VLAN, and then we connected data provider and Excel utils. So that data driven is also going to be taken care by this Excel and data provider. Then we work with the parameterization concept where we configure the browser extend report we added. Then we control the project in the command line Maven project. Till this we have done. So today we'll try to work with some pending topics like Selenium ID, those things and all we'll work on it. So page object model is something which is pending, which okay, let's complete the page object model. I'll just give you an idea about page object model. First, create with static method, then you go and create with non-static method. For this is the final package which we will be creating page object model. So you have to be careful on creating this. It will start confusing you. So what I'll do is I'll create whatever we have designed till now. I'll keep a copy of the project in the GitHub. We are already maintaining the copy of the project. You can see here in the GitHub. I'm already maintaining a project detail hybrid framework. So over here, this is the construction we have done day by day, and you see one master is there, one branch. Okay, suppose I want to keep this project safely and further update, I want to do it in a different branch so that this branch will not be disturbed. This branch is without page. This is with the page object model. This is the main one. This is the main project. In this main project, I'll update the page object model. In this particular master branch, I'll update the page object model. Now I want to keep this project safe. Whatever I have done till now, that project as a copy you wanted to maintain. Okay, or either way, further thing you want to update it to new branch, and this one you have to keep it as a copy. Okay, anything is fine. For that, what you can do is you can create a new branch. Okay, you can create a new branch. For example, let me right click on the project team, and there is a option called switch to. You can see there is only one branch, which is master. Always it is connected to master. I'm going to create a new branch. This one I'm going to give it as master -no page object model. Without page object model, I'll keep one branch. In that branch, I'll keep this current project. Current project I'll be updating. So I'm just making a copy here. I'm creating a branch right now. After creating a branch, it will not be reflected here. Immediately, it will not be reflected. Now, going further, whenever I do a push, I wanted to keep in that branch. So for that, what I can do is I can go over here, switch to, you can see two branch right now. Right now, it's connected to the new one, master no page object model. Let me make a push to that branch and keep it safe. Okay. Code without page object. Commit and push. Now, if you see when I do commit and push, it will go to the branch. You can see the branch detail. It goes to this branch. Okay, different branches would be there in the GitHub. Okay, one will be the master branch. You can see here. Let me refresh it. You can see there will be two branch. Master is one branch. That's the main branch. When you access my URL, it will take you to master branch. And master, no page object model. I just try to create one copy of the exact project. Okay, going further, what I'll do is whatever the update I do, I'll go to team, switch branch, I'll switch back to master itself. In master branch, I'm going to update the page object model. In this branch, I'm going to update the page object model. If you want the code without page object model, you can check it under this master underscore no master hyphen no hyphen page object model. Two branch you have. I just created a copy. For example, you will be completing the first phase of your automation, and that particular branch will be connected with the pipeline. Going further, you will keep on adding a new code to that particular project. That you will make a copy and you will be creating it. Understood? Okay,
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah, can you please explain it again?
Yeah, for example, in your GitHub repository, we kept one project, right? The same project will have second phase, third phase of automation regression. So assume that initially you have automated 50 test cases and you kept it. That 50 test cases already connected in pipeline. Okay, we will see about that pipeline. Now, further to it, you want to add, for example, this code you have done, this is working fine. Now, further to this, we are planning to update few things in this project. Okay. Now, when we update few things to this project, anytime we want to go back to the previous project, we need a copy of previous project, right? So what I did is I created one new branch. Just right click on the project team, switch branch, new branch I created. Right now, in my case, there is two branch. One is master, the other one is master hyphen no hyphen page object model. Two branch. Okay, in both the branch, I kept the project. Same project. Right now, both the branch contain same project. Right now, both are having same project. Going further, I'll update to only one branch. The other branch will be kept as it is. Just making a copy of the project. Okay, and going further, this is done. Let me go for, in case if I want to go for third phase, I'll be creating one branch. In that branch, I'll be updating the new codes. Understood?
Yes, understood.
Just different version of a project we are trying to maintain. Just for you to reference, I can update directly to master as of now page object model. But if you want to refer without page object model, you can go for this branch and check it. As of now, if you want a project without page object model, just choose this branch. If you want the page object model, choose master branch. In that, I'll be updating. Okay. Now, let me open the, see, right now I'm creating a branch for this purpose. One project without page object model, the same project with page object model. For my purposes, this much only in branches. But in real time, you will be maintaining different versions of the project. Different phases of development or automation we will be maintaining. Now, the final part of our framework is page object model. After adding page object model, the total code will be looking different. That is why the total entire script will look different after adding page object model. That is the reason I try to keep a copy of the project without page object model, okay, in a new branch. Now, page object model is a concept. It's a design pattern, basically. Design pattern used in a development environment. The main purpose of this particular design pattern is for creating a reusable code. The main reason is for reusability, and then another one is maintenance. These are the two main reasons why we go for page object model concept: reusability and maintenance. For example, a simple example, you can take this login test. In login test, I'm using this by route ID, the locator. Okay, assume that the development team changed the ID. Development team in the application, they have modified in the new release, they have modified the ID of this username text box. They assume that they have modified to email, ID equal to email. Now, I have to go to my automation regression. In automation regression, I have to modify it here, by.id, and I have to modify it here. Wherever I've used it, that particular code, I need to modify it here, right? So if you see, we are repeating this driver.find element in all the places. To overcome this particular problem, the find element method, basically Selenium code, pure Selenium code. To reuse the Selenium code in the framework, we'll use some pattern, which is nothing but this page object model design pattern. Lots of design pattern is there. This is the widely used pattern in automation regression. Let me show you a few slides on it. Then we'll start creating the practical scenario on that particular point. Let me go to the page object model. Page object model is a design pattern to create object repository for a web UI element. For example, these are all web UI element. These are all web UI element. So we'll create an object repository for web UI element. Okay. Under this model, for each web page in the application, there should be a corresponding page class. For example, if your application is having 10 pages, then you will be creating 10 classes. Let's take this orange HRM. If you take, this is page 1. So what we will do is in orange HRM, this will be page 1. We'll be creating page 1. I'll be creating it as login page. Now in login page, I'll keep all these methods like enter username, enter password, click on login, click on forget your password. All the things what is coming under the login page, I'll be adding inside this particular class. I'll create this. This is your page class. After login, see it gets into the logged in page. So basically the main page. In this main page, you have different menus. Admin section is there, AM section is there, and here also there is a dashboard section. Dashboard is a separate section here. Employee dashboard section is there. Directory section is there. Maintenance section is there. These are all different pages. When I click on this, you see it's going for a different page. When I click on this, it goes for a different page. Initially, before you get into the page object model with your team member, you will be discussing to understand how many pages available in this application. Lots of pages is there. Then we will be creating for page 2. Page 2, most of the time we will be creating for portal page. Okay, orange portal page. Okay, this is the portal page. We call this as a page class. And after understanding portal page, for example, under admin page is there, or let me take it as my page 3. Okay, and different pages will be there in the application. For each page, we will be creating a class. My info page, that will be one page. I'll be creating one Java class for it. We call it as page class. And the page 4, after going to my info, you have these elements. These things you have to automate under my info page. Personal detail is having this section. So I'll be creating a personal detail page. So like this, for each and every page in the application, you will create a class. Point is clear for you. Then contact details.
Balaji, these classes are with main method or without main method?
Without main method only. We just keep the class
Okay.
with methods so that we will be calling that method. We hereafter we don't use main method. The only start point for our project will be the test method. Okay, this test method will try to access the method which we created in the page object model. We'll do that. So contact feature. One class, if I create, you will get it. You will get a clarity. Emergency contact page. For each and every page in the application, you will be creating a class. Okay, for each and every page in an application, we will be creating a class. That's the first thing. Now, so what I'll do is I'll go for this source src test Java. Inside that, I'll create a package. This will be our 4th package. In our framework, this will be the 4th package. com.nsc.page object model. com.nsc.page object. You can keep it as page object, or you can keep it as pages. You will be able to see some package related to pages. If you see package related to test, it will contain test class test methods. If you see package related to utilities, it will contain reusable code, Excel connectivity, database connectivity, those kind. And if you see pages, it will have page objects. Base will have a configuration details. Now inside this com.nsc.page, I'll be creating lots of class. Login page. Okay, the class you will be creating. And then inside that I'll be creating an orange portal page. Try to end with page. Orange portal page. Okay. Orange HRM portal page. And a few more classes which I'll be creating. For example, to make it clear, there is a directory section. In case if I wanted to search for anything directory, that comes under a directory page. Okay, different page class I'll be creating. Understood? Based on number of page in your application, you'll be creating a page class. Suppose if your application is having some 20 pages, 20 classes you will be creating. First thing. So this is your first point. Now let's go for next point. And the page class will find the web element of the web page and also contains page method which perform operation on those web element. So we have to create methods inside the page class. This is all page class. We have to create the methods inside this. Now the main purpose of this method is to do operation. Operation will happen through the methods. First point would be this. Anyhow, it is something which you have to spend some time in understanding. Steps create to achieve page object model. One is for each page, the application, we will create class. We'll create a class for each page in the application, and operation will happen through the methods. Operation will happen through the methods only. Got it? We'll be creating lot of method. Operation will happen through the methods only. Method name you can give it detailedly, no restriction. Name of these methods should be given as per the task they are performing. If you are waiting for any particular payment screen and all, wait for payment screen display. A proper name should be given for the method. Okay, so 3 point only. Just for each page you have to create a class, and methods will be there for doing the operation. And basically method name can be detailedly given. And the main objective is creating the object repository. Creating the object repository for WebView element. Element. Okay. Point. Let's do it. Then you can understand. I'll create with static. Then I'll create with non-static. Today you can do with static method. Just page object, 1 or 2 page object to create. Tomorrow we'll while creating a Cucumber framework, we are having a BDD concept. Tomorrow we'll be creating a BDD concept. It will take 1 day to complete. So tomorrow we'll be completing that concept BDD framework. So you can inform the team that we'll discuss Cucumber concept. That's an important one. In that also page object model will be used. We can convert that into a non-static over there. Let me, for understanding, instead of confusing with lots of detail, let's go with simple thing. I'll be creating a star method here. Either it can be static or non-static. For example, enter username. If you see login page, these are the methods we want. We want a method to enter username. This one, the login page. All these things we have to create a method. Enter username method. And I'll be creating a method public static void enter password. And public static individual method you can create. You can group as a module also, like basically a modular driven framework, like a login into the portal where you can enter username, password, and then click on login. All three you can do together. Click on login. You can see the method should be properly designed so that whoever wants to use this method, you might be designing from 50 test cases automation. Someone will be designing some 50 test case automation, but all of them need to use this login page. Instead of they create one logic, all will be using this common page objects only. Now, methods for all the methods I need to create. Void, click on forgot password, forgot your password. Now you can see here error message we are getting here. Like when we provide an invalid credential, we will get error message. Error message will also be displayed in the same page. Error message will also be displayed in the login page only. So for that, you will be creating a method. Lots of method you need to create. Public static error message in the sense that method will return an output. Okay, message it should return basically string. Get error message. Get invalid error message. Invalid credential error message you can give. Invalid credential error message. So like this, I'll be creating a lot of methods. This method needs to return the string. As of now, I'll keep it as return empty string. We have to update it. So methods I need to create. In this class, you will be having lots of methods. Logic you need to create. Let's create one by one. For a static void static method, how do you call this method?
Using class name.
Yeah, so over here, I'll go over here. And instead of doing this activity, enter username, I'll call this method. Enter username method. Login page dot enter username. So that script, this is the script. This script, what I'll do is I'll copy it and I'll keep it here. Now listen carefully. What's a static method? A driver will be throwing error. Okay. Now you need to understand something here. Understand the flow of the framework. For example, this method is something which will be triggered. You cannot run the class file. You cannot run the login page. It's not for running. Utilities pages we have, that is also you cannot run. Data utilities we have, we cannot run this class. These are all only a class which will have a reference. Base class will be there, WebDriver wrapper. You cannot run this class. What you can trigger is you can trigger only the test class, which is test method you can trigger. While triggering the test method, @test method, it will go to the parent. Okay, an object will be created and one object will be created. In that object, in the parent, we are initializing the parent variable driver. Driver will be loaded with browser. Before method we are doing, which will be loading the browser. Then it will go to the test method. Now test method will have the driver detail. Test method will have the driver detail to find the web element. Okay. So every places you should not go and inherit the class. Now test method, what this does is test method will share the driver detail to page object model. Test method will send the driver detail, web driver detail, because we want to do operation in this driver only, not a new driver. If you try to inherit unwantedly, it will cause the issue. Unwanted inheritance should not happen. The driver detail should come to the test method. Test method will call the login page. So the script will be something like this. I will just copy the script and keep it over here. Now it will throw error. Just listen. Fix this error as of now, it's a static method. While calling the method, we have to use class name. While calling the method, I will be passing the argument. Driver argument, and then the username which I wanted to send. That username I'll be passing, string username. Okay, now you see the system. Driver detail, we need to get it. Okay, the driver detail will be supplied to this login test, the child class from the parent class. Already inheritance is done. Now the test class will call the login enter username. While calling the enter username, we will be sending the browser detail. Okay, when it comes to static, we will be sending it like this. When it comes to non-static method, how will you call?
Using using object reference.
Yeah, using object reference, right? Now, when you use object reference and then call that method, we will use constructor concept. Like a prerequisite, we will set it through constructor. Okay. First, let's go with static. One page I'll do with static, this page. Then I'll convert to non-static. You can follow the non-static itself directly. Okay, just listen here. So right now, you can see I have entered the username. Let me create the method. Three method I'll create: enter username, enter password, and then click on login. Let me paste this enter password. Driver will throw error. To get the driver detail, you should not initialize a new driver. If you extend it, it will initialize a new driver. That to extend if you do, okay, we extend if you do, you will need to create an object. While creating an object only, it will initialize. One more browser will get initialized. So we should not do that. Already existing browser test class. See, understand that the browser detail will come from the parent to the child class, which will be test class. Test class will supply the driver to the login page and do the operation. So this driver issue, to fix it as of now, it's a static method. No other way, only argument is possible. Driver, comma, password string, password. I'll debug the code and show you. This is done. To click on login, this is the script to click on login. I'll copy it. I'll keep it here. Now driver issue will be there. So to pass the driver, I'll keep it as driver. Okay. That just two method. I'll do it later. I'll come and delete it as of now. I've created a T method. Now to call this method, it's simple way to call the method. I have to remove the script to call the method login page, which is coming from a different package. I need to mention that package com.nsc.pages. It will get added. Login page dot. You can see all the static enter username. Enter username. If I do, it will ask for two arguments. One is driver, where this method will get the driver parent. Username, we are sending it as argument. Enter username. You will have only the flow. If you see, only the flow will be there. Rest everything will be hidden. Login page dot enter password. Okay. And this one, login page dot click on login. Click on login. Okay. Every place we need to pass the driver. Which driver we want to use to automate, that we are passing. We are creating the driver. If you create it as a static driver, a static, you can everywhere call it a static, which will be straightforward and it will be easy. For maintenance, it will be difficult. Okay. So to maintain the project easily, we will try to go with the non-static concept, and through objects only we'll try to access it. Always we don't use static and do it because it might affect the parallel running concept, because there will be only one copy can be maintained and all will be loaded in memory. Whether you use it or not, it will be available in memory. To avoid unwanted load and unnecessary slowing down the performance, we'll go with non-static only. We don't use static here. Now, just for understanding, I've given it clearly like static. Now, if you see here, this particular method, let me put a breakpoint here, and I'll put a breakpoint in the before suite, after suite, everywhere, all the test method, and I'll debug and show you. I'll go put the breakpoint in this also. I'll show you. Now, when I understand the flow right, altogether, if you see, it will confusing from the beginning. If you are doing, it will be clear for you to understand the flow. I'll debug the code. First thing, when I run the test method, it will connect to the data provider. It will go to the data provider. Data provider name is common data provider. Okay. So anyhow, before suite will run, right? So first before suite will be running, where I'm initializing the object. A report initialization is done. Then it will connect to the data provider, and you can see this is going to connect to the Excel, and then get the test method name, like sheet name. It will go and collect all the rows in the Excel sheet as a object array, two-dimensional array. All the record will be collected as a two-dimensional array. You can see right now, two-dimensional array. There are three records, three set of records. Test method will run 3 times. First time it will use Peter 1, 2, 3 invalid credential. Let me click on resume. For first row, before method runs. Before method browser name, it will take the optional right now. Current method name will be added into the extend report, created the report, test report. Now you can see username 123 expected item. Now the static method, we call this method. While calling the method, the browser we are launching in before method, it's the same browser only, same object, like employee object, student object, we transfer here and there, right? Same thing, we are transferring the browser object. Right now, what will happen is before method, in the before method, one object will be created. In that object, okay, when the object for login page is created, this is what going to happen. One object will be created. Okay, test method will be pointing to that object. Inside this object, there will be a variable called driver. Driver is variable. Okay, driver is actually pointing to Chrome browser. One object. Okay, now that is happening here. In before method, we are creating the object. Okay, and then storing that object in the driver variable. This object, WebDriver object, the login test object will be created. That will be maintained by the test engine. Okay, test engine will have the detail of this login test object. Inside the driver variable will be there. Chrome will be there. Now the same Chrome we are accessing here, same driver. This driver variable is what I'm accessing in the child class. In the parent class, if I give it as private, I cannot access. I've given as protected, so I can access the current driver detail. The same you can see ID 144. If you check each and everything, it's the same driver in the login test. Now you see ID 144. All the detail. I'll call this method. Let me go inside the method. Step into the same browser object. I'm sending it now here. Same browser object I'm sending. In that browser, I'm trying to find this element, and whatever the username I'm sending, I'm trying to enter it. Peter. Now this method is done and logging it in the report. Then enter password. Same driver object, and then you can see 123. Getting into this same driver object and doing the operation. If I do inheritance here, a new driver will be connected. If I do inheritance here, this class, while initializing this class, a new driver parent variable will be initializing, right? A new one more time driver will be initialized. That is the reason before doing inheritance, understand why we need inheritance. Test class needs the driver, say exact driver. But page object and all, it's something kept separately, which you can use it for any framework. We will supply the driver as an argument and then we'll make use of it. Understood? Enter the password, log it, click on driver, same browser detail will be passing the object detail. It will enter over here and do the operation. Okay. Click on login, that's done. You can see this is what it's going to validate the error message right now. This error message also comes in the same login page only. I have to move to login page only. I'm comparing the error message. And once this is done, logging the report again and again, it will try to do because there are 3 test methods. Now, whenever I wanted to enter username, I can call this method. Understood?
Yes, understood.
Now, so instead of going with the static, what we do is the problem here is the code will work as usual. Page object model is correct. Whatever we have done, the page object model extend report will be generated. We have properly published browser configuration. So all are present in the target folder. Extend report is going to be present here. You can see here 3 times it ran. First time it transferred this record, second time this record, third time this record, then the image is getting embedded. Okay. Now, now this whenever I wanted to enter username, I'll call this method login.enter username. Even for this also, I'll be using this login.enter username. And then I'll go for different class. Employee test also is going to log into the portal. I'll use the same code login.enter username. Now, if there is a change in ID, how many places we need to change in case of change in locator?
In login page class.
Yeah. So what happened is they will be able to see lots of page objects in your framework most of the time, if they are not doing from the scratch. Yeah, most of the time there will be maintenance work. When there is a maintenance work come, modification will be done. For that, you have to modify the automation regression. During that time, you don't want to check on the test methods most of the time. They will tell login page this particular section got changed. You have to modify it. When you expand the pages, you will understand which class deals with which page. You go to that particular class and you can easily identify which method or which locator you need to modify. That you can easily modify. That is the advantage of page object model. Got it? What is it? Just understand the importance of page object model. Is that clear
Yes.
for you? Now,
Yes.
let me show you a few advantage. Then I'll convert it to non-project, non-static method. Page object model pattern says the operation and flow in the UI should be separated from verification. So basically, operation and flow. This is your operation. Sorry, this is your flow. These are the flow. Enter username, enter password, click on login. Whoever comes and see this code, they will be able to understand the exact flow, what is happening in the method. It is exactly what is happening in your application. The operation will be hidden in the background. Okay, so operation and flow we have to segregate. Assertion should be kept it in the main in the test method only. You should not move that into page object. Assertion should be kept under the test method, but these codes should be moved. For example, driver.find element, we are using that locator, and get text we are doing, which will try, we are finding this particular element, the error message element, and getting the text. It will try to give you the inner text. For this, you have to create, we have to understand from where we are getting the text. The text we are trying to get it is from login page. I go to login page. In login page, I will be creating one more method, public static void. Okay, this method will return the output thing, error message. So you will come to know before you start creating the test method, you will come to know what are the methods is required in login page. For all the method, you will be creating the reusable method over here. For all the operation, you will be creating the method here. Get invalid credential error message. That's the method name. Inside the method, I'll use return driver.find element driver I need to get, which I will be passing it as an argument as of now, web driver, and this will be the script driver.find element by.id get text. That's the one which will give you the text you see here. Driver.find element dot get text, which will give you the inner text dot get text. Return type is string. That we are trying to send it from this method. So if you want to read the error message, call this method. If you want to read the error message, call this method. And this method will return a string. If you see here, enter username, void, return type void, return type void, return type void. So we are not doing storing anywhere, but this method will try to send you the detail. For example, login page dot get invalid error message. So return type will be string. But you can store it and send it. Or if you don't want to store, you can directly also add it in the assertion. Directly you can add it like this. Now you see this will be the flow of the application. Entering username, password, click on login, get invalid error message. The operation will be hidden in the background. That's the first advantage. Makes code cleaner and easy to understand. The flow will be very easy to understand, this flow. Now, the second benefit of object repository is independent of test case. So we can use the same object repository for different purpose with different tools. If we are planning to use Cucumber also, I can use the same page object. If I'm planning to use Cucumber, I can use the same page object. Similarly, if I'm designing for the same application, I'm planning to do different automation or different framework, and you can use the same page object. Page object will be always same. We can integrate page object model with TestNG, which we are doing it right now. Even Cucumber, tomorrow we'll be creating Cucumber. In that also, I can import this. Code becomes less and optimized because of this reusable page method in the page object model class. method gets more realistic name so that we can easily understand what's happening in the code. So here also I will be using login.enter password, login.enter the click on login, those methods, and get current URL that's not in the same page. So we will be creating a code in a different class. Okay, let me do that. So this step is done. So right now I trigger this invalid credential. Comes to the test method. Test method will connect to the enter username, enter the username, and test method will connect to the enter password and enter the password. Then click on login, click on login. Then in the page, we will try to get the error message. So I'll call this method. While calling this method returns string. Okay. Now finding that ID, getting the text and returning it. That value we are storing it temporarily here. Then I'm logging it in the report. Along with that, I'm doing the assertion, comparing the text matching fast. Otherwise, it will be failure. Understood? So this is your page object model. We have to keep on enhancing the project right now. So in the page object model right now, whatever we have done, it's fine. It will be useful. But the major problem of this page object model is right now. Static method right now. That is the major problem. Because of that, we have to send the driver every time. Every method, we need to send the driver. Otherwise, I can make everything a static web driver declaration, the parent class is static, and you can directly access it. Okay. So which we can do, that is going to be straightforward. So any of them, I'm not going to use that. Now let's understand how to create a non-static method. Then I'll try to use it in all these scenario. Okay. Now let's first, is it clear? This is clear for you, right? Any doubts with this?
No, understood.
Okay, yeah. Which object with static method. So anyhow, this is just for understanding only static method. We'll convert to non-static method. Let me convert to non-static method. So listen here. Now to convert into non-static method, first I need to remove the static keyword. So how will you call this method? Non-static method. Remove all the static keyword. If I remove all the static keyword, my code will throw error. All this section will throw error. Saying that. Let me remove this. Employee, I will do it later. Employee test, I will remove. And login test, you see, replaces it is throwing error. Okay, this is a not coded. We'll do that later. You can see it's going to throw error. Why it is throwing error? Once I remove the static keyword,
We have to call it using object reference.
yeah,
Using
object,
driver dot.
but not driver. Driver is an object of Chrome driver. Driver is a object is for Chrome driver only. Only Chrome driver methods you can call it. Now we have to create an object for this class and call it login page method. So I'll be creating an object for login page, right? Login, some new object I'll be creating for login page. Then login reference dot enter username, login reference dot enter password, login reference dot enter, click on login object reference dot method. Creating an object and calling just non-static method inside this class. We are calling it. Got it?
Yes.
So let me, the execution, there is no change in the execution. It will be a same execution only. So before speed run, data provider getting loaded, test before method runs, then it goes to the test method after launching the browser. Object I'm creating, just creating an object. While creating an object, all the non-static field will be loaded. Right now, no non-static field in this class. Just method is there. Method will also be loaded. So one object will be created. Inside that object, this will be loaded. Right now, you can see calling the method. Still, I am passing the driver, okay, and doing the operation. Just instead of static method, I converted to non-static, which will do all the activity. Click on login. Now this method will call this. Inside this, we are finding that element with the current browser which we are passing. Then we are trying to get the text. Then comparing it. That's done. So each and every row will get executed in this way. Now this is a non-static method. Now the advantage of over here is if anything is prerequisite for the object, I can keep it through constructor. Anything if I feel prerequisite, I will be keeping through constructor. Right now, if you see here, this will run for 3 times. It's running repeatedly. I ran the entire class, I guess. Okay. All the methods ran. Let me open the report. All these methods ran successfully. All got executed, 4 out of 4. Okay, now you can see here. Let me go to login test. Here. While calling the, see, for example, constructor concept, I explained you. While explaining the constructor concept, Java concept, I told you if you feel anything as a prerequisite. For example, action class you take. Action class, we were working on action class. While creating an object for action class, mouse over actions, keyboard actions, and all we tried to work on. Action class, mouse over keyboard action. This is a class, and in this class you see not associated. So in this class you see action class methods we have, right? So this class is asking for a driver, and then when I do action dot do anything, it will use the driver what we have supplied here and do the operation. The same concept only we are planning to do. Instead of sending the driver in each and every non-static method anyhow it is associated with object, current object. So in the current object itself, we load the driver. So for that only we go for constructor concept. If you feel anything as a prerequisite for the class, you can add it as a constructor. Constructor name and class name should be same. Default constructor, which you can override by passing the argument. We are going to create a constructor with argument. If you have created a constructor explicitly, you need to call. If you think anything prerequisite for the object, you can add it as a constructor. When we automate the dropdown, you have seen that when I automated the dropdown, it was forcing us to send the web element. They made the web element as a mandatory parameter. Now here I'll be creating a constructor. So instead of sending the argument one by one here, just let me remove this. From this code I'll remove, then I'll go to the page object. Instead of sending the driver one by one here, in each and every argument I'm sending the driver. Instead of sending the driver one by one, I'll be sending the driver while creating the object. Okay. Do we have constructor in this class right now?
No.
No, right? So what I'll do is I'll just pass the create the constructor. Constructor name, class name should be same. Now this constructor will accept the driver. This is the constructor. Now whoever try to create an object, they have to call this constructor only. That's the logic of constructor. If there is a constructor created explicitly, you need to call that only. Now no one can create an object without passing the argument. They have to pass the driver. Now let me remove the driver here from the argument. From the non-static method argument, I'm going to remove the driver, web driver. All the method. Now my driver will throw error. Now I have to connect this driver to this driver. How to connect that? For that, what I need to do is I need to create some private web driver. Class level, I'll be creating one web driver, private web driver. Now this will be null. While creating an object for this class, this will be null. We will try to do this driver equal to local driver we need to do. So right now it will bring up a conflict that a local variable and instance variable is same. How can we distinguish between local variable and instance variable? Local and instance variable is this. Local.
Using this dot driver.
So in all the page object class, we will be using this dot. So this particular detail will be there in all the page object class. So for each and every page object class, there will be this one. Each and every page object class, we have to declare their own driver, and that driver should be updated through the constructor. Now, if you see the flow, no error in the code. Let me run this script. Okay. Before switch will happen, then test method will be loaded. Then before method comes into picture. First row is getting executed. Now it will enter into the test method. You see, first row, Peter, 1, 2, 3, and then expected error. Now, I'm creating an object for login page. Okay, already you see here, already there's a driver. This is an object of WebDriver wrapper plus login test, object of WebDriver wrapper and login test. So I'm going to login test this object. So I'm going to create an object for login page, LPIQ. This is the login page object. Inside that login page object, what are the non-static variable we have?
Driver.
Oh yeah.
Driver.
Only driver. Only one variable we have, driver. Okay. So now, if you see here under login page, this will be coming from a different location. So this one L1, this is taken care by test.ng. @test will take care. This object I created. Okay. So I created an object. So this L2 I'll keep login page object. Inside that there is a variable called driver. When I create an object for login page, this will get initialized. Now, if you see here, I'm creating an object for login page. Okay. While creating an object, it will force you to send the argument driver detail. The driver, this driver is coming from which class? We are in a test method. This driver is coming from which class right now?
Chrome driver.
Yeah, Chrome driver. From which class we have declared this variable right now? To the test method, we are getting the driver. Right? Driver variable is coming from
web driver.
Yeah, web driver.
Web driver.
This driver getting initialized before method run, where we are getting the browser got initialized here. Now, after browser got initialized, it will come inside the test method. To login page, we are sending the same browser detail. I'm sending. See, right now, this object detail is what I'm trying to send. So listen carefully. Let me get into the test method, like constructor. Now you can see this is the driver we are sending. It's the same driver. Now the login page driver will be null. Login page driver is null. This is actually null. This is actually null. Initially, when I create an object, it will be null. Now what I'm trying to do actually here is this dot driver, the current object, login page object, this dot driver equal to this driver. So I'm asking local variable, which is coming from the WebDriver wrapper, is pointing to one browser. I'm asking this driver also should point to the same object. Now what will happen is this dot driver you see, it will point to the same browser, just an object reference we are creating here. Now this driver initially it will be null. Now it will start pointing to this driver object. Now the driver in WebDriver wrapper and driver in the login page will point to the same object, same browser. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, now you can see login page object is created. When the login page object is created, all the non-static variable will be loaded. You can see login page will have its own driver, but that driver is pointing to the same browser. Now, using that reference, using emp1.getEmployee detail, emp1.printEmployee detail means it was printing that employee detail. emp2.printEmployee detail, in the sense we did that. So it was printing its own employee detail. That's the same concept here. Okay, the Java concept which we created here, student object, employee object, stu1 display student detail instance, whatever the object in stu1, that student detail is printed. Right now, if you see, login is containing its own driver. That driver is pointing to the browser. Now login dot enter username. Now this is a non-static method. Non-static method will be loaded when the object is created. So object is created. This method right now is called using which reference? This method is called using this particular reference. This reference is already having the driver. So you see the same driver will be used. Login. Now login is already having a driver reference. No need to pass the argument. Just it will the current driver will be used. Basically, this driver will be, before running this non-static method, this will be loaded. Constructor will be loaded. For sure, it needs to load. Otherwise, it will not allow to create an object. Entering the username, then getting the error message, non-static method. You can see drastically code will be reduced. That's it. The concept will be same. Page object model concept will be same. So whenever you need an object, you can create it and use it. And once you come out of the method, the object will be destroyed. Always it is not going to be present in memory. Like static, which will be present in always. Here it's a non-static. Whenever we need, we create an object and use it. Otherwise, it will be not matching. Okay. Now let me run the script quickly. So done for login page. We have to create a page object model for other pages. So this is one of the important concept, page object model. You need to do lots of practice, like 2-3 pages. If you create, then you will get comfortable on this one. Okay. So framework in order to learn. So this will be the steps. With these steps, you will be able to work on any framework. Right now, login page is done. Going further, what I'll do is, instead of doing this activity, enter username, password, I'll just create the object of login page driver here and enter username, login.enter username, login.enter password, click on login. Okay. Now this script, I'll be adding it in my, wherever I want to log in into the portal, I'll add the script. Under employee test, for login category, I'll be adding the script. Okay, so clear for you. After, whenever there's a change in the locator, I have to go to this class and change it. That's it. Okay, these are all, these 2 point is done. Final point is pending. These 2 are done. For each page, we have to create a class. That's done. Methods is there to do the operation. Repository, you need to correct. Basically, web UI element, you need to collect. We'll do that right now. So login page is done. So next, here, let's go for login test scenario. For this particular test case, I'm trying to get the URL. URL, we are trying to get it from which page? Before login or after login? For valid credential.
After login.
Yeah, after login. So that is not in the login page. So that we will be keeping inside the orange portal page. For example, what I'll do over here is I'll create one explicit condition. So I have to, the URL and all, something which will be present in all the pages. In this page also it will be present. Title also, it will be present in this page. After click on login, it will take some time to load the new page. In new page also there will be URL, title and all. So before getting the title, before getting the URL, it's important to validate whether we are in a proper page or not. For that, you can add an explicit page. Explicit page which we added in the wait for alert scenario. WebDriver wait object I need to create. While creating an object, same you can see this class is also asking for driver. We are supplying same way. We are supplying a driver for login page also. Here also we are supplying the driver, and the duration I need to give maximum time it can wait for the page load to complete. Duration of seconds I'll do. I'll keep it as 50 seconds. It will wait for the page load to happen in 50 seconds. Wait dot condition you need to give. This is an object creation only. Condition I need to give. So what I can do is I can wait dot until expected condition. Lots of expected conditions will be there. So here I'm going to use expected conditions dot. Lots of method will be there. Methods like element present, element to be clickable, and you can see title contains, URL contains. Okay, I can give URL contains dashboard. It will wait for the URL to be containing the dashboard, then it will go for the assertion. Lots of method will be there. So generically what you can use is you can use this method. Okay, so alert is present, it will wait for the alert to be present, otherwise it will throw error after 50 seconds. Generically you can use this particular method in all these scenarios. Presence of element located. Presence of element located, it will ask for the locator detail. I can give by dot any element I can give. In this page you see there's a my info section. Okay, I can do by dot export // b // b. Any locator I can give text equal to my info. Okay. Now I'll wait for this element to be loaded. Once this element is loaded, then I'll get the title, basically URL. Okay, now these also should be moved to page object model. So these two methods I need to move. My info comes under which page? Login page or orange portal page?
Second page, orange.
So second page. So orange portal page or main page or orange portal page, you can keep it. If you wanted to keep it as main page, you can keep it. Okay. Or orange portal page it will be. In this page, you will try to handle all the menu, Okay. For example, clicking on my info, you see here, click on my info, and then click on admin, click on PAM, so click on add employee. So all menu and all will try to add it in this page. Click on PAM, click on add employee. So menus will be handling in this page. And once you click on dashboard, it's a dashboard section. So you have to create dashboard page. Once you click on directory, it's a directory page. A click of directory will be happening here, but after clicking on directory, we have to go for some other page. So in this page, I'll create a method. I'm going to create one method, public void wait for my info, wait for presence of my info, presence of my info. Okay, that's the thing I'm waiting for. Now the script will be, this will be the script. Wait object I need to copy, I'll keep it here. Now driver will throw error. Okay, to solve this driver problem, what I will be doing is I'll try to go to login page. Same thing I need to create it here also. The same thing I need to create to solve this. Okay, only thing is the constructor name and class name will be different. Here also, declaration will be same. Got it? This you need to create. All the page objects I'll be creating it. And now whoever you can see here, I'm creating this method driver issues fixed. Next, I'll be creating a method public string. get portal URL. Okay. This method will try to return the driver dot get current URL. Okay. I'm returning the URL. Now to do this operation, I need to call this method. Through the method only, we will be doing the operation here in the login test. We don't hardcode driver dot, we don't use it over here. Instead of doing this much task, I'm trying to give how to call this method. How to call this method on static method. We need to create an
object.
object. Right? So orange portal page. You can give portal variable name new orange. So you can see here, like action class object, when I create, it will ask for WebDriver. The same way, without a driver, you cannot create an object. It will throw you error. Like action class object. Action class I shown you in GitHub, right? Selenium action class. You can see this action class is having a constructor. Same thing we are doing it. Class name is action, WebDriver, WebDriver. Understood?
Yes.
So to call this, we have to pass the driver, no other option. Now driver we can pass because our test method knows driver. Test method gets the driver from the parent class. Now I can do portal dot wait for presence of my info text. That's done. Now over here, to get the URL, I can do portal dot get portal URL. Okay. Now you can see operation and flow will be separated. Assertion verification should be inside this page. The verification in the test method only. You should not move that verification. This will be the concept of page object model. So the detail you have to understand by looking into the framework. You cannot directly go and learn all these base utilities and pages. You cannot go directly and learn it. What you need to understand here is you have to understand which is a triggerable point. For example, test method is the executable point. You can run only the test method. So you have to start understanding the test method detail. If you see the test method detail, it's asking for login. It's creating an object for login page. Before that, we are getting some argument. Okay, the argument you need to understand from where it is coming. The argument, if you see, we are creating a data provider. You should go to the data provider and see what's happening. It's a common data provider we are giving in the Excel. Based on the current method name, it will pick the data. It will pick the data from the cheat, and based on number of rows, it's going to run. First, it will try to get one data from the Excel, and we are creating an object. While creating an object, if you notice, we are using some driver here. Now you need to understand from where this driver comes. You can right click on it and give open declaration. It will take you to the parent class. Okay, so while going through this test method, first what you need to understand is this parent class. What is inside the parent class? Directly understanding the test method, you have to get into test method only. But while seeing this class, you will understand there is the parent class. Go to the parent class and understand what are the variables they have declared in the parent class, what are the methods available in parent class, and just understand the hierarchy of this. Before method, after method runs for each test method. This will run initially, this will run at the end. So driver will be initialized in before method. Now login page object we are creating. While creating an object, it will go to this particular login page and load the driver. The driver we are using for automation. Okay, so this will be the concept of page object model. The flow will be something like this. It's clear for you what is page object model? An unwanted package. To remove unwanted package, Control Shift IO. To do, you can see the test method reduced with lots of code. Control Shift IO. If you do, it will remove the unwanted packages.
Understood.
Okay. Let me push it till this, and let me add one more thing. Page object model. Non-static. If you see all the page object model right now, one thing is the third point. Okay, the main objective of this framework is, so it will take 2 minutes to complete, creating object repository for web UI element. Okay, that is something which is pending, that you can easily do it. When you go for login page, that's it. Page object model concept is done. Now, instead of hard coding the details, so what are the things hard coded inside this method? If you see this method, what are the things hard coded?
So sorry, I didn't get it.
Yeah, so what are the things hard coded inside this method? Hard coded data you see, like we should not hard code the detail. For example, data, we are parameterizing it. Data is coming from the test method, no issues. Locator, you see, we have hard coded, right? So when you take,
Yes.
yeah, when you take this orange portal and all, there will be a menu we are handling. So it means there you can see lots of menus there. Okay, some 20-25 menus will be there. You will be creating a method of 20-25 methods you will be creating here. For example, methods like public void on my info. That's the method. Now my info, I'm creating it. Okay. Click on my info, I'm creating. So driver.find element, this will be the script you will be creating right now. Once you understand page object model, you will start creating something like this. Again, you need to do this by.xpath. You can see we started repeating this script. This locator. See, dot click. In case of change in locator, the problem here is I have to change it here, I have to change it here. We are repeating because of hard coding the data locator also here, we are repeating it. Okay. The main objective of this particular framework is creating the object repository. This is your object repository. For example, all the locators what we are trying to create should be kept at the class level. Login page, these locators, or for login page, all the locators like this text box, this text box locator, and this login locator, forgot your password locator, that you have to keep it at the class level. For example, by.id, I'll be, this method returns a byte type, which we have discussed it. So I'll be creating a non-static variable, private. Okay, let me keep it as int. Username, locator. Give the name properly, by.id. By.id, by.name, by.xpath, all these are going to give you the byte type. This method will return a byte type. Okay, you cannot store it in string. And driver.find element, already told you, by object it's asking, we have to pass the by object. So initially, when I discussed Selenium, you can see I told you by.id, you can by.id, by.name returns byte type. You can store it in byte type only. You cannot store it in string, so don't get confused. Whatever the return type of this method, try to store it. So all the locators, first duty will be creating all the locators. Password locator equal to by dot. If you want to use name or ID, you can use it. Yeah, let me use ID. This text password. All these I'll try to keep it here. Private by login locator. Try to keep it as locator or LOC. If you want to use name, you can use by dot name. You can use in case if you want to use the name. Now, by going into that particular class, you will understand. Submit this. You will understand in the top itself, you will be able to see all the locators. And the private by error locator, the error message locator. That is this by dot ID. So instead of giving this by dot ID, by dot name, all these things, you will be passing this variable name. Find element. How are we going to find the element? Using this by username locator. Password is also by type, which you'll be giving it here. Password locator over here. Login locator. And then error locator. Now, by going to this particular class, you can understand by going to this class, you can easily understand. Suppose if there is a change in the login credential, if they change the login locator, login feature, they have modified it. Assume that this feature is modified. So you have to modify this locator detail. For that, you don't want to disturb the method. Operation will be same only. Just by checking this class level, you can understand what changes you need to do. Okay, always try to give it as locator so that anyone can easily understand the script. Okay, and going further, like here, whatever the locator I want to automate, I'll try to keep it over here. Private by my info locator. That locator I'll keep it here. Now, whenever I wanted to use by info locator, private by admin locator, click on admin by dot export by dot name, whatever it is, it's going to be returning the byte type only. You have to store it in byte type. Now hereafter here going instead of hard coding by dot export, I'll be giving my info locator. Now if there is a change in my info locator, many places we have to change. First you need to understand my info comes in the menu. Once you understand it comes into the menu, you can directly understand which page you need to disturb, which class you need to disturb. Go into that class, you will be able to see the locator in the top itself. Understood?
Yes.
This is your object repository. 3 points. For each page, you need to create a class. Operation should be happening through the methods. Nothing should be hard coded here. Nothing should be hard coded. Data comes from the Excel. Locator, we have to keep it at the class level. Okay. One of the hybrid framework what we designed. Now, if you take this particular scenario, employee test, if you take, I'm clicking on like add employee. If you take, I'm clicking on PAM. PAM is a menu. So for this, what I'll do is click a menu. PAM, if you see, it is a menu here. Okay. So all these menu, I'll try to handle in this one. Click on public void. Just here, one step I'll do this. Public void. Click on PAM. These methods I'll be creating here. And then this locator, what I'll do is immediately I'll take this locator and keep it over here. Private by PAM locator. Now locator I'll be using in the script. And to call this method, we will be doing it. So after clicking on PAM, I'm clicking on add employee, which is also a menu. After clicking on PAM, it's a menu. Actually here it's a menu only. So you can click on add employee. Again, add employee script also. It's a menu only. So initially you will be discussing with the team member. Directly you will not be writing. You will be discussing with your team member and understand which page comes under which class. Then you will start doing it. Once you understand it completely, then you can start creating your own. Click on add employee. Just after clicking on add employee, you will get a confusion. So only that step I'll complete it. So you see, I click on add employee. So this will become the locator. All the locators you will be keeping in the class level. Private, we will be accessing only within this class. Add employee locator. Add employee locator. It is done. Now, after clicking on add employee locator, I'm entering the first name. After clicking on add employee, you see it's going to totally different page. It's an add employee. After clicking on add employee, it's a add employee page is there, employee list is there, report is there, configuration is there. So this is one page. For this, what I'll do is I'll create a new class. Whatever I handle in this first name, middle name, last name, upload file, all these things comes under add employee page. So for this class, what I'll do is there will be a constructor for this class. Let me create it quickly. Something gone wrong. add employee page. In this class, there will be a constructor name and the class name should be same. Now in this class, I will be having the method public void enter first name. To enter the first name, the script already I've written the script. This will be the script. Now over here, I have to keep it locator thing. I have to take the locator and keep it in the top. This is what you need to do regularly. First name, locator or LOC you will be giving. Now first name locator, you will keep it over here. The argument you need to pass it. Okay, this method is going to call this page object. So whoever calling the page object, they will send the data. Rest of the code you can keep it in the top. Okay. Now to call this method, all these things here, I will go to page object model. Sorry, this login test. But to click on PAM and click on add employee, it comes under the orange portal page. So I have to create an object for orange portal page. You see, while creating an object, it will ask for the driver. Driver detail comes from the parent, so it will be taking portal dot click on portal dot click on add employee. Before that, portal dot click on PAM. Okay, next, this comes under which page? Add employee page.
Yes.
You can create an object like this, and after creating the object, in that page you will have to enter first name, complete the remaining step. Given the step already, let's complete the remaining step in the assignment document. Complete the remaining step. So those things, adding the employee detail, all these form, right? The complete form you have to fill it here inside this add employee page. This is your page object model. Now we can use the same page object model for Cucumber framework also. I'll tell you, Cucumber will be much more simpler to understand. Until this level, you can try to complete it and keep it. That should be enough. Okay. Till this level, if you create it, page object repository created, object repo created, page object model updated. Now whatever the update I do, it will go to the master branch only. In this repository only it will be there. You see here, in the master you will be able to see the updated code. If you want the project without page object model, then you can use the other branch. The other branch I kept without page object model. Understood? For your reference. Okay. So that's all for today's session. Page object model is the concept. Major portion is done. Okay, framework major portion, everything is done. If you want to add a few keywords, you can add the keywords. Keywords in the sense, for this going further, you can add the keywords also. And those keywords will come from the parent class. If you want to supply the driver to the parent class, what's the keyword we use? Suppose parent class is having some constructor, and that constructor is asking for web driver. Okay, then how will you supply the driver to the parent class? Like parent constructor,
Extend.
we have to do extend. After doing extend,
Super dot.
yeah, so what we do is here in the base class, we will try to create reusable keyword. Web driver keywords we will keep in the, this is your web driver keywords. Okay, in web driver keywords, what we will do is we will use methods public void click on element. Okay, I'll be creating a method click on element. Now this method will accept the by type by locator, and here I need to import the detail. This is a common. So here there will be a constructor public WebDriver keyword constructor keywords, and this will accept the WebDriver. Now you can understand this flow also. It will be easy since we already discussed the inheritance. We'll be able to get it. This dot driver equal to driver, which means instance variable will be there, which I created right now. Private WebDriver driver. Here what I'll do is driver dot find element locator dot click. Two method I'll create. One is for type, one is for click. Type one element. Okay. I'm giving two arguments, comma, string, text. To type it, what will be the keyword? 10 keys, text. Okay. Now you see, this is a reusable keyword. Selenium reusable keyword you will be creating here. Got it? Lot of reusable. Switch to frame and select from drop down. Driver dot you are doing, right? You will be creating it. Now going further, what we will do is in the login page, I will be using extends driver keyword. Okay, now it will throw error because parent class is having the constructor. So we will be using super keyword supply the driver. You can see same driver we are supplying to the parent class. Now instead of doing this this much time, driver dot find element, I can use the method which is coming from the parent. Type on element, I'll be giving the username locator username which will be taken here. Understood?
Yes.
This is the maximum extensible level on the framework. Lots of reusable keyword you will be having. Now every page object will be extending that particular keywords only. Okay, super. We will supply the driver to that thing. So you can see type on element, and for click on login and all, no need to every time write driver dot find element. I'll be using click on element, login locator I'll be passing. That's it. This is the final level on the framework. Those keywords, when you get time, try to create all the keyword and use super keyword and supply the thing and just call the method. No need to write driver dot find element every time. You just call this and do the operation. And here we have to create a keyword public string get text. Okay, get element text you can create, and driver dot find element locator detail dot text you do. That will be the reusable keyword. Instead of writing the script, one keyword I'll be creating like public string get element text. These are all my own keyword. Get element text. Return driver dot find element get text, and locator I need to give. This is a reusable script. And now whoever wants to get the text, they can call this method, and by passing the locator, they will be getting the text. Get element text. You can see locator I will be using. You see major part of the code will be reduced. We will be starting using our own method. Okay, no need to write every time driver dot find element. Okay, for this we will be using extend WebDriver keyword. That keyword you need to build it when you get time. This is the maximum extensibility on this framework. Okay. First achieve the data page object model. Then you go for this reusable keyword. Just do it for valid credential, invalid credential. That is enough. And once you settle down with login and invalid, after 1 day or 2 days, you can start on add employee. Then you will be getting a clarity on this. Is that clear for you? Tell us.
Yes.
I have updated the GitHub link. First, you try to create a page object model, and after creating the page object model for login on Orange portal, login valid invalid you do. Then for that, you try to use a reusable keyword and see whether it's working.
Okay.
Okay. Here and all, there will be an extend keyword, super keyword you need to call, and click. You have to call that click by click using element. That super keyword we will be calling. Okay. Till this, you try to complete it and flip it. Anyhow, this framework is done. Tomorrow we'll start one new framework. Just inform others that we will start with the Cucumber. So maybe some people might join for Cucumber.
Balaji, while designing the framework, we have to create all the packages simultaneously, or we have to create one by one, like you teach me.
So for since you're learning from the scratch, I created one by one. Okay, most of the time, if in real time, what will happen is this packages and all lots of packages already available. Okay, if you see any existing framework, you can pick those things. Okay, page object is something which you will be keep on creating.
Okay.
Page object and test method is two things which you will be working. This once you design configuration base and utilities, once you design, it will be done. Okay, first you sit and work on base class and then utilities. So reusable structure will be created. Then you can start working on the test method and page objects.
Okay.
Okay. So structure based on your understanding only. Once you understand everything, you can start it with any direction. It will be clear for you if you create the test methods. If you complete the test method, then it will be clear for you to upgrade everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay. So we'll connect tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll complete the Cucumber project. Tomorrow we have session, right?
Yes, 9 to 5.
Okay. Just inform others also. Like we'll discuss Cucumber.
Okay.
That's all for today's session. We'll connect tomorrow. Yeah. See you.
Yeah. Good night.
Yeah. Good night.